It keeps us warm, it feeds us, purifies our water, and keeps us safe from predators. And it also gets rid of bugs as well. One of the most effective ways to get fire without the use of lighters, matches, or even fire steel is a bow drill. And so that's what I'm going to show you guys today. There's a few different variations, but this one I found works the best for me. A few things you're going to need for a bow drill are the bow itself. Of course, you're going to need a string. I prefer to use man-made string instead of natural cordage. It's a lot stronger, more reliable, you can use it more. The next thing you're going to need is a spindle. Now, there's a few different people that say a few different things about a spindle, and I tend to like a thicker spindle because it's stronger. It also gives you more leverage for rotating, so it's a little bit more effective on that. You'll also need a fireboard, and you will also need a fire pan. And the fire pan is used for transferring the cherry into your tinder bundle. So let's get started. I'm going to be using pieces of cedar like this. This is Western red cedar. There are a few types of woods that are very effective for making fire with the bow drill method. Those are yucca, balsam fir, red cedar, cypress, tamarack, basswood, cottonwood, American and slippery elm, and willow. All those woods are softwoods. Now, hardwoods can be used, but it's going to take a lot more effort and a lot more calories to get the right result. I'm going to be using Western red cedar because it is wildly abundant in my region. You should do a little bit of research to figure out which of these woods are in your general area and use those while practicing. This wood came from a young cedar tree and has very thin bark. And so before I do anything, I like to strip off some of the bark because it actually makes a really good tinder for a bundle. So now that we have that tinder bundle, this is pretty much ready to go. We're going to use this piece of wood to make our fireboard, and to do that we're going to need to split it into about 3/4 of an inch thick. Now that we have the split to the correct thickness, we can go ahead and do a pilot hole for our spindle. Now this is done with the tip of the knife. You can pretty much use a rock if you needed to or anything, but essentially what you want to do is have it about 3/4 of an inch away from the edge. And just a small hole will do. It's just to guide the spindle so it doesn't travel around and make it a really difficult process. Now that we have the pilot hole set, it's time to make a spindle. And this one's already pre-made for you, but I am using Western red cedar just like the wood that we're using for the fireboard. Now, like all sticks, this is slightly tapered even though it looks straight. And the side that you're going to want towards the fireboard is the fatter side. The reason for this is when you are using your bow drill, it's going to want to come loose on you, but you're going to be leaning forward, and might as well use that lean forward to also keep tension on the string as well. Go ahead and cut or find a stick that is about the length of your forearm between your elbow and your wrist. And I'll show you why that length is important. You're going to want to round out each of the ends so that it evenly distributes weight into the hole. The next thing you're going to need to do is create yourself a handpiece. The handpiece is going to allow you to put downward pressure with your other hand while your dominant hand is spinning the actual spindle. The same process for making a fireboard, only the size of wood is going to be different. And also, if you have it available, go ahead and use a little bit of lubrication. Lubrication can be candle wax. It can also be suntan lotion, Vaseline if you have Vaseline dipped cotton balls for tinder. Anything like that will work just fine. I'm going to be using the spindle socket on the Hawkes Hellion. A lot of Tops knives has this little spindle socket, and it allows you to have a spindle socket on you at all times. It's very effective because it does not transfer heat very much, and also it'll get polished on the inside and actually be a little bit more slippery the more you use it. Once you have the handpiece made, let's go ahead and make your bow. When choosing the correct stick for a bow, you're going to want to find a piece that's about 2 feet long. This one is a little bit shorter and is not the traditional shape of a bow that you might see in a drawing or something like that. This one is a section of a sapling, and it is basically like a pistol grip. And this is pretty much to help my wrist because I've had previous injuries, but don't let that be a criteria for choosing your bow. A traditional shape will work just fine. I went ahead and notched each end of this bow, and that is for the cord to nest securely inside of it, and also to keep its tension. The way I'm tensioning this bow in particular, because of its shape, is I'm essentially wrapping it around a few times. And once I put tension on it, it tightens itself up and doesn't move. Finding the correct tension for your bow and your spindle is going to require a lot of trial and error. Essentially, the proper tension that you want on a spindle is a little bit tighter than you might imagine for your first time. To put it in, you just put it in like that, and you twist your spindle. And it'll make this nice little creaking sound. All right? Now, the proper tension, the spindle's gonna wanna spin out of the bow, just like that. So just remember, and proper tension is necessary because you're going to need a lot of friction between the actual spindle and the string in order to get it to turn. Otherwise, you're just going to be sliding the string all over the spindle, and it's not going to do anything except heat it up. So that's nice and good. Now that we have the proper tension for our spindle and our bow, let's go ahead and start burning out this pilot hole. And don't get too excited because this is just one of the steps to set it all up. Go ahead and place your foot near the pilot hole and insert the spindle right into the pilot hole. And do the same with the handpiece as well. You're going to want to lock your wrist pretty much to your knee, and you're going to lean forward slightly while spinning as well. So you're going to be using some body mechanics to help you out. So let's go ahead and start spinning. Okay, so now we have a small hole burnt into the wood. Now the importance of this is it's going to kind of dictate how deep and how large you make your V-notch. So that's the next step. So now that we have the notch, the bow, and the spindle all set, next thing you need is the fire pan. This is made out of the inner bark of a Western red cedar. It's all the way dry. Of course, you can use like a dried leaf if you'd like. Try and stay away from green leaves, as the moisture will suck away the heat from the cherry. And also the evaporation will add water to it as well, which is not a good thing. Go ahead and place the fire pan underneath the notch, thusly, and let's get to work. Locked and loaded. When you're first starting out, you really want to take your time to find the right pressure to speed ratio. Light colored dust means that you're probably not using enough speed, meaning you need to add more friction. If the powder is too fine and there's not enough of it, there's a good chance you're not putting enough pressure in there. Keep going a moment after you think you got it, just to make sure that you're really in the green. You don't want your time, effort, and calories to all go to waste. So, at this point, probably pretty out of breath, and you don't want to blow your little cherry all over the forest floor, so just use your hand and fan it until it's nice and strong. There you go. You can see it's on its way. And then take your tinder bundle and transfer the goods. Now at this point, you're gonna have to do some CPR, but be very delicate because it's still in its baby stages. That's pretty much how you make a fire with the bow drill. It takes a lot of work, but the end result is very rewarding. One of the best ways to get zip into a shot is to have food in your pocket.
Zippy, come here,